Alright, yo, what's up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Google Pixel Fold, OnePlus Open, and the Z Fold 5. Let's get into it. So all three of those phones, I had them for a good amount of time. I tried them out to their limits. And the first category that I'm going to talk about is form factor. Form factor is very different across all three of these devices, which I think is good, and I feel like it should stay like that. The market should have diversity for different people. At the end of the day, form factor comes down to what you want and what you are most comfortable with. For me, I'll rank it like this: Pixel Fold, Z Fold 2, and then the OnePlus Open. The reason why I put Pixel Fold as the best form factor for these foldable phones, it's so compact and nice, but it still has a decently wide screen, and that helps with like app optimization, things like that. Because it's so small, it's easy to reach the top of the screen. I love the rounded edges. I feel like it's pretty comfortable to hold despite the weight. It's a really nice form factor, and even when you open it up, because of the rounded edges, like the ergonomics of that phone, and even the weight balance is pretty decent, and it feels premium. Another reason is because the inside screens. People hate the bezels. I love the bezels of this device. First of all, the selfie camera is in the bezel, so that means there's nothing that interrupts the screen on the inside. And then also the bezels give you a nice decent place to hold the device without interrupting the screen. This is something that you can do on the OnePlus Open. It has thicker bezels than the Z Fold 5, but at the end of the day, I like how Google did it. And then the Z Fold 5's bezels are a little bit too thin for my taste when it comes to like a tablet-like device. But the Z Fold 5, it's not my number one, although I do feel like it's really comfortable, and I think the one-hand ability is probably the best on the Z Fold 5. I really appreciate the slimness of the Z Fold 5 and how pocketable it is and stuff like that. The reason why it's not the best form factor for me is just because I like the Pixel Fold more. I just wish the software was on another level. The OnePlus Open, listen bro, people are gonna hate me, and they already do for some other videos and stuff like that, but the OnePlus Open is an amazing phone. The form factor is really not that bad, but for me personally, I feel like the ergonomics are not good on that phone. It has sharp edges, it pokes you a lot. It's just not nice to hold, with the camera bump being slightly too low to where it impacts at least my hand, my finger on the back of it, and it makes it uncomfortable to hold and use for long periods of time. But in terms of looks is a different category, so I'll get into that. In terms of looks, I'll probably say the OnePlus Open is the best looking phone out of all these foldable phones. And then I'll go OnePlus Open, Z Fold 5, Pixel Fold. Yeah, I think the OnePlus Open just looks really nice. It looks premium, but it feels a different thing for me. Z Fold 5 looks really nice, but it's also kind of basic. To be honest, I might put the exclusive blue Z Fold 5 over the OnePlus Open because I like the color scheme and I like the color combination. But overall, I think the OnePlus Open has the best looking design. And then the Pixel Fold is not bad at all. It's just, it doesn't look as nice as the other ones, especially the visor. I feel like it could have been better if they just made it even like the 7 or the 8s. I feel like the way they did it was kind of interesting. But yeah, the next category is outside screen. I will put Z Fold 5 at the top, Pixel Fold at the second, and then OnePlus Open at the bottom. It's all subjective. This is all my opinion. I'm not saying nonsense. I'm talking from experience and, using all three of these devices, owning them, using them to their limits. Z Fold 5 just has the best outside screen. It's so enjoyable to use with one hand, like literally just walking around, multitasking, doing different things. I use it like that. Then I open it up, put it into flex mode, or I prop it up and use temp mode. It's just a really nice form factor. And when you combine that with the great software that Samsung has, one hand mode to bring it down, you got easy split screen, easy pop-up windows, all with one finger, one thumb. So much power in such a smaller space than the other ones, but it's big enough to actually do stuff and get stuff done. For me, I get a lot of things done on the Z Fold 5's outer display. Pixel Fold is second to Z Fold 5 because, like I said, one-hand ability and reachability. I wish it was a little bit more slimmer, and it's not even necessarily the screen size, but like maybe if the bezels were slimmer and the form factor was a little bit more slimmer, it'd be easier to use one hand. I don't think it's as easy to use with one hand as the Z Fold 5, even though it's a shorter screen. OnePlus Open is, the way I view the outside screen is like, I'm using that for quick things. I'm using it on the go. I'm not going crazy on the phone on the outside screen. That's the purpose of the foldable phone, is to open it up. Not that like the Z Fold 5 or the Pixel Fold's outside screens make me want to open up the screen because it's too cramped. I don't ever feel like that. But the purpose of buying these foldable phones is for the big screen. So the outside screen in my eyes is to literally to just get stuff done easily with one hand. And the OnePlus Open, unfortunately, is just not as good as the other two. And like I said before, it has some of the worst ergonomics I've ever felt on a smartphone. So that's just my personal experience though. Like, I'm not knocking the phone. I think it's a great phone. I think it's better than the Pixel Fold overall, but outside screen is not the best for me. Like, I don't need a foldable phone to have a regular phone outside screen as big as a regular phone. And if they do, then I want the ergonomics to be nice. OnePlus Open is number 3. So now next category is the inside screen. in my opinion, I would probably take the Pixel Fold inside screen. All the stuff I said about the bezels, but then also the aspect ratio, at first it's kind of weird. Like, you know, why would you want to have it in landscape by default? But it actually is kind of nice because when you're multitasking, the best orientation for side-by-side multitasking, in my opinion, is in landscape. So the Pixel Fold always being in landscape kind of invites you to multitask, to split screen side-by-side on a regular basis, even though it doesn't have the best software or as good of ways to get into multitasking and split screen. It doesn't have the gestures and stuff like that. The aspect ratio and the orientation, landscape orientation alone kind of invites you to multitask. So I like that about it. The crease and the feel of the screen and all that stuff, people can talk about those things. For me personally, like, I've used all three of these devices and I don't really care. Like, I don't think about how the screen feels. I might notice it at first, like, oh, this feels different from the other one, but none of them feel bad. Like, touching the screens and stuff like that, interact with them, none of them feel bad at all. So I don't really think about those things. I don't really care about it. Some people might really care about crease and stuff. OnePlus Open has the least amount of crease, but it doesn't impact the experience for me. So yeah, Pixel Fold is the best inside screen in my opinion. Then the Z Fold 5, I'll put it after the Pixel Fold, literally because it's the same screen, just in a different orientation. And then the OnePlus Open will be third in this category as well for me. The OnePlus Open has a bigger screen, it has the biggest inside screen out of all the phones, but the aspect ratio is worse than the other two in my opinion. The other two are at least kind of closer to 16:9, but the OnePlus Open is literally like almost a square. It's almost like 4x4 or whatever it is. Like, that just doesn't work well for a lot of apps, a lot of optimization things, even multitasking. Personally, I'd rather have, like, you know, a slight difference in terms of landscape and vertical. The OnePlus Open has a slight difference. It's not exactly square, but it's pretty much square, and I don't like that compared to the other ones. It also has the selfie camera in the screen, or like on the screen or whatever, off to the side, so that kind of gets in the way. It's not that big of a deal, but it is there. The Z Fold 5, at least it's under display, so it's not as noticeable. Pixel Fold, Z Fold 5, OnePlus Open in terms of inside screen. And actually, before I move on, you might be thinking, oh, the OnePlus Open has the brightest screen. That is very true, but in darker situations, the OnePlus Open has the brightest screen in that scenario as well, which is not that nice to use. And there's a good amount of time where I'm using my phone in a dark or a dimly lit room and stuff like that. So the screen being super bright is kind of annoying. And then on top of that, OnePlus doesn't have extra dim, which is very strange. So OnePlus Open is literally just beaming you, burning out your eyes at nighttime. Maybe that's not everyone else's experience, but it is my experience. And so I prefer the other two in that sense as well. I'd rather have a screen that can go low enough than a screen that is too bright. And I feel like the other two are fine outside in daytime and stuff like that. I don't really have too much of an issue. For multitasking, I'll go Z Fold 5, OnePlus Open, Pixel Fold. This is kind of self-explanatory for, you know, at least where the Pixel Fold is ranked. The Pixel Fold just does not have too many multitasking capabilities. Like, literally, it's just a split screen. The taskbar is not always there. You can make it stay there by turning on button control, but why would I do that? Like, I use gestures because I enjoy gestures, you know. I don't want to switch to buttons. It's not bad, obviously, because being able to split screen by default on a bigger screen is really good multitasking compared to a normal phone, but it's not the best. There's no gestures, there's no deeper customization, there's no edge panel, there's no floating window. Floating windows is crazy to not have on a bigger screen, so I don't understand that. It's really the bare minimum of multitasking, and it's very unfortunate. The reason why I have the Z Fold 5 over the OnePlus Open is, like, I just personally like how Samsung does multitasking better. And I only talked about split screen, but like Z Fold 5 has the edge panel, which is highly customizable compared to OnePlus Open's edge panel, which you can open floating windows so many different ways. Drag from the top of the app, you know, you can drag and drop in the middle. You can drag from the notification shades. With the floating windows, you can customize the opacity. You can make it more visible or less visible. So you can have unlimited floating windows. You can literally do so much with the Z Fold 5. Like, in terms of multitasking, it's just crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. And that is why I put it over the OnePlus Open and the Pixel Fold. Animations. So in terms of animations, I think all three phones are good, but I feel like Samsung has improved their animations so much over the past year. It's just the small things that make it really nice. So for example, going in and out of apps, the transition between, you know, opening and closing the app is very smooth, very seamless. It even works for widgets as well. Just go straight back into the widget, super smooth, super nice. Like, for example, up here, boom, straight back into the widget, super nice. And then pulling down, you know, your quick panel, your notification shade, it just looks really nice and smooth and fluid. Everything is fast, but not too fast. I just feel like it's a good balance between speed and fluidity. And I feel like it low-key does a better job than the rest of them. Pixels have had the best animations on Android devices for a long time, but I feel like Samsung low-key might just be number one. All of them, like I said, have good animations. OnePlus Open doesn't have bad animations at all, but I feel like Samsung is killing the game. The one thing I don't like about pixel animations is I feel like there's certain parts of the UI and the interface where the animations are kind of jarring. So for example, when you're pulling down your notification shade or your quick panel shade, it goes completely black and then it fades into the, what you're pulling down. When you're doing it really fast, it kind of just looks like a blink. Like it's not the smoothest animation in my opinion. Regardless of what your home screen background is or your theme and stuff like that, it just goes completely black, and I think that's just not smooth at all. There shouldn't be just completely black in the middle of the animation transition. But everything else is pretty smooth and bouncy and fun, but I think Samsung is just winning right now, in my opinion. In terms of general usage, I'll cheap out and I'll rank all three of them at 1. I think in terms of general usage, they're all good. You won't really run into any issues or many issues. You won't really have stuttering. They're all smooth. I haven't had them heat up or stop working. They all deliver what they're supposed to do when it comes to general usage. So in terms of that, no issues for all of them. They're all 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. So performance is kind of difficult to gauge and difficult to compare between devices because I feel like it's relative to how you use your device. When you're playing certain kinds of games that don't require too much power, you can get pretty good performance, a stable 60 FPS from all of these phones. So performance, it's really relative and depends on how you use your phone and what you do on it. And yeah, so at some point in time, the Pixel Fold was the best performing device for some reason. It was performing better than the OnePlus Open and the Z Fold 5 for me in video editing and in gaming. But at the moment right now, in this current time, the Pixel Fold is not the best performing device. I think it has to do with optimization and apps, finally being more compatible with other devices. I'm not sure why the Pixel Fold was like, when I first tried this like 4 months ago, Pixel Fold was destroying OnePlus Open and the Z Fold 5 in some video editing tests that I did where it's exporting or, just using it 5 minutes, even playing certain games. Pixel Fold was going crazy and just working really well. And the Pixel Fold still works well in all those things, but the Z Fold 5 is now faster at exporting, faster at, it's more stable at playing certain games, and even Genshin Impact on the Z Fold 5 is pretty stable. You can play a decent around 50 FPS, and if you lower the settings, you could probably get 60, and it just works a lot better than it did before. So optimization really is coming clutch for the other devices and drawing out as much power as possible. So it's relative to what you do. I don't play Genshin Impact like that, but I've tested it out, and Pixel Fold is not bad at it, but it's definitely not as good as the other two, and it definitely heats up more than the other two do. Like even chilling in Minecraft right here as I'm talking, Pixel Fold is getting warm, so there's that to note. But generally performance is good across all of them, except for specific use cases where you need a lot of power and efficiency. So I'll rank it like this: Z Fold 5, OnePlus Open, Pixel Fold. The performance is very similar with the OnePlus Open, despite OnePlus Open having a dedicated gaming mode, but I feel like in my time the Z Fold 5 performed better. Although I don't have the OnePlus Open right now, so I can't test it updated. Maybe the OnePlus Open is just destroying both of these phones, I'm not sure. But in my experience, overall, the Z Fold 5 is number 1, OnePlus Open is number 2, Pixel Fold is number 3. But like I said, the Pixel Fold is not trash at all. It's good enough for most things, and you can even play high performance games. You just gotta lower the settings. Battery life, honestly, Z Fold 5, OnePlus Open, Pixel Fold. The OnePlus Open's battery life is good, and the Pixel Fold is also not bad, but I think the Z Fold 5, in my experience, my time with them, had the best battery life, so there's that. But all of them are pretty good in my experience. They all can reach around 6 hours or more. I think the Pixel Fold would definitely struggle a little bit more than the other two, especially depending on what you do, but it's still pretty good battery life, especially for a foldable phone. So for photography, OnePlus Open, Z Fold 5, Pixel Fold. Simply because I think the OnePlus Open has the best camera for stills, and it just looks the nicest. It has the most detail, the most depth. Z Fold 5 is like right behind it, but it lacks the depth and the details. It takes good images, but yeah, just the images can look a little flat. Pixel Fold, maybe it's different now, but when I had it, the images weren't looking that nice, that flattering, to be honest. They all kind of look disappointing, to be honest. Like, it's a good camera, but like it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. But yeah, I think I prefer the other two cameras over the Pixel Folds. This is all my opinion, but definitely I think the OnePlus Open has the best camera, if anything, for photography. Videography is different. I'm gonna go Z Fold 5, OnePlus Open, Pixel Fold. Pixel Fold is still at the bottom. It's not bad at all, like I said, but the other two just have more features, they just look better in my opinion. And honestly, there's so many other things I can talk about. I'll do my overall ranking right now. Z Fold 5 and then Pixel Fold versus the OnePlus Open is kind of hard because I love everything about the Pixel Fold. It just doesn't have the software features and the multitasking that I would want and personally need. But everything else I love. I love the form factor. I love the way it looks. I love the animations, the smoothness, the inside screen, the bezels, whatever. I love all those things about the Pixel Fold. but it doesn't have the things I need and want. For that reason, I gotta go with the better phone overall, and that's the OnePlus Open. So Z Fold 5, OnePlus Open, Pixel Fold, that's my overall ranking for which phone I like the most and which one I would choose. But that's not to say that any of these phones are bad, and I think they're all great phones. They all will work well, and you can't go wrong with any of them, to be honest. They all have their drawbacks and the things they're missing, the things that you might have to think about, like when it comes to warranty or durability and like customer service, all these things that are attached to each of these devices. They have their experiences, but at the end of the day, I think they're all good phones for what they are when they are working and there's no issues. The reason why I choose the Z Fold 5 over the OnePlus Open is because the Z Fold 5 just has the most complete package. It's just the best overall, in my opinion. Has all the software features, has all the customization, has, you know, good enough cameras, like literally just right there. And if you're talking about video, it has better video quality, in my opinion. And then Z Fold 5 has the S Pen. People might say the Apple Pen, the Apple Stylus, but you can't even find that in Canada. And if you do, it's really expensive. Whereas with the Z Fold 5, I can get an S Pen for the Z Fold 5 for like $50, you know. I can find that pretty easily. And the S Pen on top of that has so much more features than the Apple Pen, and it's a very smooth stylus that works as good as the Apple Pencil. Like this thing right here, Apple Pencil 2, this is like one of the best styluses in the game for a lot of artists and people who use styluses, and the S Pen is literally right there. In fact, the S Pen has more features than the Apple Pencil. You know, the Apple Pencil is really good in terms of latency and art and stuff like that, pressure sensitivity. The S Pen is also good in those areas, and it has additional features, so many features with the S Pen. So that in itself is a huge category if you're somebody that uses styluses. And yeah, just overall, the Z Fold 5 just fits me better. Like the one-hand usage of the outer display and everything that it offers. Samsung DeX is very crucial to me. Like Samsung DeX is basically my computer most of the time. Plug it in, start working on video ideas, you know, video edit sometimes. I watch YouTube on Samsung DeX. I play games. Like literally Z Fold 5, like it replaces my phone, my tablet, and my computer. That's how good it is. And even my camera, because honestly, I haven't owned the actual camera in a long time. I've been using smartphones, and I think the Z Fold 5's camera is good enough to replace a camera, depending on what you do. Obviously, you might need something better for different use cases. But anyways, that's why I choose the Z Fold 5 over the other two. Like I said, none of them are bad. They're all good. Whichever one you like the most, that is good. I'm happy that you're enjoying it. I'm happy it's written for you. Don't attack me. This is just my video on it. If you have the Honor Magic V2, let me know in the comments below what your experience is in terms of multitasking and, you know, all the features and stuff like that. And if you had the Pixel Fold or any of the other foldables, how does it compare to those ones? So let me know that. And if you have any thoughts in general, let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you watched the video, and let me know. And yeah, we out. Peace.